Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm here again, just sort of reflecting on a few things that I've read recently in the Bible. And I recently read in Deuteronomy 6 the commandments that God is passing along to the Israelites. And the thing that really jumped out to me in that chapter was the parenting aspect. Little surprised, didn't expect parenting advice from Deuteronomy, but I want to read the scripture and sort of just convey some of the thoughts that I had around it. So it's Deuteronomy 6. It starts in verse 5, and it says this. It says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your strength. These commandments I give you today are to be upon your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk on the road and when you lie down and when you get up." Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I have a 9-year-old little girl, little lady, and as she's getting older, I'm realizing how important it is to talk about life, whatever situation or a scenario comes up, and really come back to the Bible. Society changes, expectations of social groups, politics, all those kind of nitty gritty sort of things that come up and can be kind of difficult to navigate as a parent. If you have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I've sort of put it into practice, and I can't say that I'm the best at it, but I'm trying to always bring everything back to the Bible. The Bible has truth in it. It hasn't changed. There might be variations in wording, but the message is still the same. And when I read that verse, I really asked myself, do I talk about God in a casual way? Now, to give you an idea of what I sort of was challenged about is I'm divorced, and my little lady, Maya is her name. Her mom and that side of her family is really believes sort of in the law of attraction, thinking about things, and those things will come into your life. And it's been a challenge to bring a faith element into her life and show her by example, by actions and words, how our family, my side of the family, how we do our best to live in faith and according to the word. And the struggle that I had is we've started to do, the only way I can really think of putting it is formal devotions. So we start in the morning and we read some of the Bible, and I ask her what sort of stands out, what do you think? And we try and take a section of the Bible, and we sort of walk with that throughout the day. So when things come up, we try and bring it back to that verse. And what I try to do as a father is I try and impress what the Word says in day-to-day life. I don't want her to think that faith or God is just cheap talk, that there's relevance, there's usefulness, and there's guidance when we read the Word. But again, what I sort of struggled with was, do I casually talk about it? Do I testify in my day-to-day interactions about what God has done in my life? It says when you get up, when you walk along a road. So it's not formal, it's very casual. And I think those things really resonate, especially with kids in that age group, because, they're old enough to start asking questions, and when they hear something, they're like, hey, that doesn't seem right. And she has called me out on things before, and she's absolutely right. And as a father, it makes me really want to, for lack of better terms, step up my game and be that real life example. So I guess as I was reading this and trying to understand it is, loving the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and with all your strength. And to impress that on your children. The one thing that I will say is, parents, if you're listening to this and something drew you to this video, I'm going to say this. Do not underestimate the ministry you are in as a parent. There are a lot of forces, influences that can really affect our children as they're kids, but they eventually grow up to be young adults and eventually adults of their own. They have their own families, they're part of a workplace environment. And it's really easy to let those opportunities slip through your fingers, to not fully give the magnitude of ministering to our kids. These are the next generations, and I know that I have a passion, I have a desire, a hunger to see my little girl be just Christ-centered, and to know that I influence her now, which will in future affect and impact other generations. So please do not underestimate the ministry you're in as a parent. I know it can be frustrating because they just find those creative ways to push your buttons, but they're always watching, and they need to know that you're doing your best. And I would also encourage you to be really honest and have those conversations. To give you an idea, she's 9 years old, and in the past number of months, I've had conversations about dating with her, about drugs, about identity, about sexual identity, and just sort of trying to bring that all back and, balance that with love, and how disagreeing doesn't mean that you have to hate somebody. It should invoke or provoke you to take more action in love. And we're all a work in progress, so don't put a ton of pressure on yourself to be perfect, but be authentic and be present with what you know in your faith and what you've experienced, and use that to testify and to be a testament to our kids. So that's sort of what's been on my mind. I felt really compelled this morning to share that and encourage you. Hopefully it did. Again, if anybody has questions or wants to engage in a further dialogue around this, please take me up on it. I don't have all the answers, so if you're looking for all the answers, I'm not the right guy to talk to. But I think it's really important that we as believers sort of share our stories with each other, that we inspire each other, and we share those experiences to create a future generation that is strong and Christ-centered. All right, that's all I got for today. We'll see you next time.